Some cards. I got a lot of varieties I've been doing on my show, but I think I want to change it up and just do like a general Trivial Pursuit question because I have like every Trivial Pursuit set of cards. I feel like I do. I have a whole drawer full of them. Let's try the 1980s. I know a little bit about the 80s because I lived like through at least 4 or 5 years. No, I lived through all the 80s. I'm thinking of the 70s. I only lived through. So, here's a set from the 80s, and it's an original 80s set. It's like made at the end of the 80s. It's not the reissues, which probably have the same questions. They're just reissued. So I'm worried that all these sets of questions I just have doubled in a different reissue. But let's see. Let's see how this is gonna work today. See what my 80s trivia is all about. And I guess I'll just, instead of doing a Zoom, try to get it all in here this way. This is totally random. I'm not like I'm going to know what's going on here. So this is very general knowledge. I'm going to call this this general knowledge springboard. So this is whose 1,788 room palace has air conditioned stables for his polo ponies. Who was the rich person in the 80s? Because everybody loved, well, I guess they still do. I don't know, but the lifestyles of the rich and famous era. Polo ponies. I don't know. Nothing's coming to mind. Air conditioned stables for his polo pony. Well, I look forward to see what I can remember and learn about that. Olivia Newton-John question. Okay, well, Irk censors with the line, oh, I feel like I know the answer to this right away, and maybe you do too. I was playing Trivial Pursuit with friends a few weeks ago, and this question came up. So it must have been a question from one of the reissued 80 sets, which just answers my own question about no one, these are the same questions. Anyway, so this is physical. Let's get physical. This is 1982, I believe. If you look up any other YouTuber's best songs of 82, maybe it's 81. I know, I don't remember. Bill Murray performed this on the first ever Late Night with David Letterman episode. So it's physical. Pretty sure that's correct. In my world, it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. All right, North American country hosted leaders of 41 French-speaking nations in 1987. Well, if you're like me, you know in North America and French-speaking leads to Quebec and Canada, so that's your answer right there. Something happened in 1987 where we had 41 French-speaking nations, at least the leaders of those nations, had a good old time in Montreal. There we are. Well, this is, if you're talking about 80s and you're talking about the telephone companies, most of it you're looking at the AT&T monopoly. So I'm pretty sure this is AT&T the right choice. And Cliff, not Cliff Richards, Cliff Robinson. Why can't it's different from Cliff Richards from the Rolling Stones? Keith Richards. Keith Richards was in the Rolling Stones. Cliff Robertson did the AT&T voice and starred in the movie Charlie, which was based on Flowers for Algernon, which is a fine little book that I remember reading in the high school. There we go. He did that. Now, back to the phones. Later in the 80s, you had the deregulation of AT&T and all that, and then you had MCI and those other carriers start doing their thing. But that was back in the days, and people had landlines, which I still have one in the house. Anyway, what ex-con pitcher played organ at Fort Wayne Komets hockey games? Ex-con pitcher in Indiana, Fort Wayne, Indiana. Don't know. Not good on the sports for the most part. A little bit of baseball. Maybe know more than I want to about the 1985 Chicago Bears. But no, I look forward to that. We did have this this was the same card I just did a few nights ago with friends. but it wasn't this card. It was like a new set that just came out the last couple of years. It's the same questions on those cards. So anyway, I don't know why I can't remember the hockey one. Maybe I didn't know the name at all. But most hated food in the U.S., given the chance, the choices here, I'm just going to say tofu, especially in the 80s, because tofu, that wasn't real food. No. Okay. All right, let's see what the answers are, folks, in our 80s trivia. Sultan of Brunei. Yeah, that's so familiar. Physical, Canada, AT&T, Denny McLain. That does sound somewhat familiar. Yeah, I just did these with... And Tofu. Well, so much for the spontaneity of brand new questions. It just reminds me that I read this card a few weeks back in a different version. But there it is. That's the beginning of some 80s old Trivial Pursuit trivia. Hope you enjoyed that. We'll see if I feel like finding another random Trivial Pursuit card and just go take it from there.